Ladies, gentlemen, and all you beautiful people in between, my name is Strife Knight, and welcome back to the Umamusume Breakdown series, where I go over every single piece of Umamusume animated media, to not only rank them, but to come over all the hidden references, secrets, and trivia. Link to the playlist will be in the description. Today we shall be taking a look over at the Umamusume spin-offs, Umayon, Umayuru, and Pretty Great. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Airing on July 7th, 2020, Umayon premiered. It was loosely based off a series of comic strips by the same name, containing 12 3-minute long episodes with original stories each. For the home release, it came with an additional 12 bonus episodes, which were half the length and adapted the comic strips directly. Wait, so how am I supposed to talk about this for an hour? Listen man, they're just gags. You can just watch this entire thing in half an hour. It's not worth it to go over the plot for each episode. Since in the time I could have summarized it for you, you could have just watched it instead. And you can bet they're not adapting any real-life careers here either. So, for this video, I'll mostly be focusing on the trivia notes. In the first episode, Special Link is taking an exam, in which she uses a dice pen given to her by Matakani Fukukitaro. This is in reference to an unadapted comic, where her and Vodka seek Matakani Fukukitaro's help for their exams. They all fail. Episode 2 is about Tokateo photobombing a Tracen introductory video. This is the first time in the series where the full name of Tracen, as Training Center Academy, was mentioned, and Teo's antics to always face the camera is a pretty popular meme in the Umamusume community, to the point it was actually referenced by the Power Dash spin-off game, as an animated avatar you can get right now from the Steam Point Shop. In episode 6, Honest Fujin takes Major McQueen, Fine Motion, and King Halo out to a beef bowl restaurant. Honest Fujin's owner hung himself after eating a beef bowl, which caused people to think this was an elaborate dark joke, but it was actually about how Yutaka Taka had never went to a beef bowl restaurant before being invited to one for a TV show. Episode 9 revolves around Smart Falcon forming an idol group called the Getaway Sisters. As the name implies, it's comprised of Smart Falcon, Ines Fujin, Marazensky, Salad Suzuka, and Mihona Bourbon, an all frontrunner lineup. Episode 12 is infamous for a couple things. Firstly, it uses the concept outfits for Hichi Amazon and Super Creek, which were both significantly hornier than the final designs. Secondly, this is the episode where Super Creek blows on it. And by it, I mean the widespread image of Tamamo Cross in a preschooler uniform comes from this episode, which explains why she looks significantly more childish here, as it's because of the chibi art style. As Gold Chip enters the race halfway, Teo refers to it as a Gold Chip Warp, referencing the 2012 Satsuki show. In episode 15, Gold Chip tries to prank Airgroove by scaring her via camera flash, and I've actually talked about this in my season 2 video. The mic's yours, past Strife Knight. While giving another tour, Airgroove has a picture taken of her with a flash turned on, which startles her. This is a reference to a historic event where the flashes of camera scared Airgrove during the 96 Shuka show, causing her to lose a race and injure her leg. This incident caused their JRA to permanently ban flashing lights during races. And episode 20, Tokate... Ayo. He had a very flexible build. Made him quite springy and bouncy. By the way, I just love this looping gif. Top tier. Here's the original panel. Episode 23 puts on display the creepy and supernatural side of Manhattan Cafe, as the last time we saw her was in the previous year's B&W special, in which she still had her normal yet coffee-obsessed personality and design. The comic this episode was based on was also the first time in which Cafe's imaginary friend was ever mentioned. Now let's talk about the outros. There are 3 ending songs, each from a different group of Umamusume. For episodes 1 through 4, the outro is sung by the Golden Generation. In this shot, whether intentionally or not, the distance of the character from the camera is in correlation with the time of their death. For episodes 5 through 8, it is members of the Student Council, the Dorm Heads, and Tokateo. For episodes 9 through 12, it is the frontrunner group, the Getaway Sisters. This pattern is repeated for the second half of the series. That should be most of it for Umayon. I'm not sure if I'll ever talk about the mangas in the series, so just to be safe, I'll mention one thing from it. In one comic, Biwa Hide puts on a backwards Santa costume, a joke that's actually made its way into the game, as her Christmas old skill animation makes reference to it. Now to review this thing. I mean, it's hard to make a critical analysis perspective on something like this. It's a short series and making jokes about Umamusume characters. I would say that I definitely prefer the first half's longer episodes, but considering the second half is entirely adapting 4-panel comics, I can't really hold it against them. Some standout episodes I didn't mention are the ones where Nice Nature Major Ryan solve a mystery, the one where Shirooki makes a surprise cameo, and the obligatory Power Rangers parody. I do enjoy the fact that this gave us a little bit more of the underrepresented characters who didn't get much screen time in the main series. The entirety of the launched playable roster is present in this anime, with the sole exception of Rush Hour. As with many comedy series, some jokes land and some don't, and I think that's okay. I still quite like it for what it is, but I can't in good faith rank this very highly. However, it was still an enjoyable experience overall, which is something I can't say about Season 3, so it'll be going above it. Next up is Umayuru, first airing on the Paco Troop channel on October 16th, 2022. This series has a much stronger character focus compared to Umayon, with 19 out of the 24 episodes, featuring one or several of the following: Symbolic Chris S, Tanino Gimlet, Dawa Scarlet, Vodka, and Tsurumaru Tsuyoshi. As with Road to the Top, I'll leave a link for you to watch the official uploads in the description. Episode 1 features all the aforementioned characters, as well as some others. Most notable are Hichi Akebono, who will remain a consistent visual gag throughout the series, appearing gigantic in the background, and Happy Meek, who makes her first non-game appearance in this anime. Scarlet and Vodka are arguing, with Tsuyoshi trying to act as a mediator between them. There is an actual relation between these two and Tsuyoshi. After his retirement, he became a lead horse to guard around other horses, which included Dawa Scarlet and Vodka in 2007. Lightning strikes at Pre behind Chris S. She turns around, looks at it for a moment, then ignores it. It's one-to-one exactly what happened when lightning struck an electrical pole and set it on fire in Chris S.'s stable, in which his cool demeanor actually helped calm down his surrounding horses. Chris S.'s rival and Vodka's father, Tanino Gimlet, makes her appearance. She gets a sharp pain in her left leg, the same leg which forced the real-life Gimlet to retire due to a bowed tendon. In episode 2, Machikane Tannhäuser buys some funny honey before she's frightened by a spider. As mentioned in the previous parts, Machikane Tannhäuser has an association with spiders, due to the fact that accidentally eating one caused him some health issues, which led to him missing the 1994 Arimakinen. At the end of the episode, there's a shot with a bunch of students. These are all based on jobber horses from the game itself, but let's focus on this one, Bridge Comp. You can spot her on the left side, and she's actually one of the few in-game jobbers with a large following, specifically in the Japanese community. I'll make sure to point out every time she appeared in the series. Episode 3 takes place in Husojun, a fictional bar owned by Junko Hosoe, the ex-jockey turned commentator who frequently appeared in Season 1 of Pretty Derby. She voices herself yet again in Umayuru. That's all you needed to see from Episode 4. Episode 6 sticks out to me in hindsight because it uses the exact same music as the Hot Springs commercial featuring Itake Take and Christophe Lemaire. They thought nobody would notice if they reused that track, but I did! Future Slater here. While doing the editing for this section, I realized that the commercial I just talked about has been taken down. It's nowhere to be found on the official Umamusume channel, and I don't know why. The other commercials featuring Itake Take and Christophe Lemaire are still on the channel. I tried looking around, but I could not find it. All the links are dead and it's gone private, but I just happened to have it saved on my computer due to circumstance. It was by complete coincidence. So, hey, that's another factor for you. This is now technically lost media. I might re-upload it myself sometime. Back to the video. The episode itself is a detective show parody, with each of the characters' outfits referencing a specific show. McQueen's is from Aibo, Tokyo Detective Duo. Agnes Takion's is Detective Galileo. Machikane Fukukitaru is Furuhata Ninzaburo. And Teo's is the most obvious, being Detective Conan. Bridge Comp appears twice in Episode 7, once during an exam, and again in the cafeteria. In Episode 8, Dawa Scarlet and Vodka argue who is cooler between both their fathers, Tanino Gimlet and Agnes Takion, during which Dawa Scarlet pulls off the Kamen Rider double pose she saw Takion do back in the B&W OVA. When Takion and Gimlet are reading the news, Bridge Comp makes an appearance in the background. Episode 9 is an Initial D parody. Happy Meek makes an appearance, and actually has dialogue in this one. Director Akikawa makes a cameo as well, marking his second ever on-screen animated appearance. Bridge Comp appears next to Marzensky in the crowd. Happy Meek uses Rushing Gale, the first time an in-game skill was blatantly mentioned in this way. The numbers on each of the racers are all pretty complicated references, but here's the rundown. Shakura is number 7, referencing the number of centimeters he lost in the Japanese Derby. Dawa Scarlet is number 12, which can be read as 1-2, as she had never placed anything other than first or second place in her career. Twin Turbo's number 32 refers to the R32 Nissan Skyline GTR, which has a twin turbo heart. Happy Meek is number 86. Happy Meek is based on a Palomino horse breed. If you take the first two syllables, pa-lo, it actually means 8-6 in casual Japanese. All of these numbers together can reference the cars AE86, RX7, R32, and DMC12, which have all been referenced in Initial D, a show about car racing and drifting. This is why Marazinski, the supercar horse, was fawning over them. In episode 11, you can spot Bridge Cop on the left, and she actually has a spoken line. Episode 12 has the characters face off against one another as rival gang, each one representing a sire with 2 children and a grandchild at the forefront. First is Team Brian, named after Brian's time, featuring his sons Mayana Top Gun and Tanino Gimlet, and his granddaughter Vodka. Second is Team Sunday, named after Sunday Salads, featuring his sons Sinal Suzuka and Special Week, and his granddaughter Dawa Scarlet. Lastly is Team Tokyo Tony Bin, named after Tony Bin, with his son Winning Ticket, his daughter Airgrew, and his grandson Tosin Jordan. It should be noted that this episode had to be taken down and re-uploaded due to the fact that Tosin Jordan was miscredited as Tozen Jordan. Winning Ticket is shown riding a scooter, similar to the one from her original design's artwork. In episode 13, you can spot Bridge Cop on the left. Also, Inari 1 references Akuma from Street Fighter. In episode 14, Air Shakur's laptop has a sticker referencing Tupac's All Eyes on Me album. A third of her brain is taken up by the number 7, once again referencing his loss of the Japanese Derby by 7 centimeters. Episode 17 is about Fine Motion and Symbolic Chris S becoming ninjas, where Chris S wears a headband with a chestnut on it. Chestnut in Japanese is kuri, you know, like Korea's S. Episode 19 is titled As the Golshi's Will, a reference to As the God's Will, which this episode is a parody of. It features Danganronpa style Pink Blood, and it's the first ever instance of a voiced on-screen appearance by director Akikawa outside of the game. Where she and Tazuna reference the gacha animation door opening. On Goldsup screen, we see the bonds at the top right, just like the in-game training UI. Episode 20 has the characters forced to play Mahjong at gunpoint. There's a barrage of references using character combos on the tiles. Triple Crown, featuring Simbali Rudo, Narita Bryan, and Mr. Sibi. Destiny Symphony, featuring Mihona Bourbon, Tokai Teo, and Tokina Minoru. Veiled Triple Crowns, who won the Satsuki Show and the Japanese Derby. After Bubble, which is translated as Millennials, featuring Special Week, Winning Ticket, and Rush Shower, each winning a single classic race in the 90s. Eastern Titans, featuring Taki Shuttle, Symbolic Chris S, and Zenro Broy. Meiho Dormitory Residents, who were trained by Kazuo Fujisawa. Western Giants, featuring Winning Ticket, Fine Motion, and Air Groove. Rito Dormitory Residents, who were trained by Yuji Ito. Record Holders, featuring Kida-san Black for his 2017 Tenno Show Spring Run. Zenro Broy for his 2004 Arima Keenan, and Tosin Jordan for his 2011 Tenno Show Fall. Vodka defeats all of them, however, with an all-Dawa Scarlet lineup, and banishes her competition to the line of E, their term for barbarians, forever. The finale episode has Symbolic Chris S face against Tanino Gimlet. As the two reminisce about the previous episodes, one of the gags shown is a reference to Ace Attorney. On the race itself, it's based on the 2002 Japanese Derby. The GOAT, no reason, was actually present, but does not make an appearance because she had not yet been implemented into Musume. Tanino Gimlet would win this race. However, it was directly after that he received his leg injury and would retire from racing. With that win, though, his jockey, Yuta Kitake, would break the record for the most amount of Japanese Derby wins by a single jockey, after he had previously won this race alongside Special Week and Admire Vega. And that's it for Umayuru. Once again, there isn't much to analyze with this type of show, but I can appreciate the step up in animation quality, and there is a stronger sense that the writers know what they're doing with these characters, as well as more references for me to cover. There's definitely a smaller variety in the cast with this one, as it clearly focuses on a certain selection, but I thought that was fine all things considered. But Umayon definitely gets more brownie points in that regard. Yeah, not much to say. Was funny? Blah. Definitely goes above Umayon for me. Oh, whoops! Looks like my hand slipped and I put it above beginning of a new era. How'd that get in there? No time to think, because it's Grey Week, April 29th, 125, and Umayuru Pretty Grey just released. This was a series for commemoration of the yearly G-Week Side Games does with Umamusume, where they replaced the Golden and Golden Week with another G-word, like with Golshi Week and Gal Week, which is a whole other thing that's a possible subject for a different video. For now, we have, as the name implies, a Grey Week for all the Grey horses of Umamusume, featuring 9 horses starring in 4 additional episodes of Umayuru, since there's so few of these it won't be taking long to cover them all. So, I'll rank them amongst each other, because why not? Link to the series will once again be in the description. The first episode features Tamamo Cross, Ogre Cap, Goldchip, and Mizuru McQueen as the 2 pairs run a takoyaki stand and a yakisoba stand respectively, with each food having a strong association with the horse girl running it. This was the funniest episode, so it's number 1 for me. Episode 2 features Sail Sky, and a parody of Detective Kosuke Kendaichi. The way she scratches her ears is to mimic the mannerisms of him scratching his head often. Considering my familiarity with the source material, I didn't enjoy this one as much as I could. Third on the ranking. Episode 3 is the surprising BMW OVA tribute, featuring Biwa Hide and Heishi Miracle. They face off in a relay race with a similar but older team structure. Each team has 3 Umamusumes each, representing a classic race, and they face off against one another. Here are the matchups. Satsuki Show winners, No Reason and Narita Taisha. Japanese Derby winners, Winning Ticket and Taninu Gimlet. Kikuka Show winners, Biwa Hide and Heishi Miracle. Fairly entertaining and a sweet callback, the second best episode. Episode 4 features Chronogenesis and Curren-chan, as Chronogenesis shows her friends what a real hardcore horse racing fan is like. This is the worst episode. The most hyped thing about it was when the deadass went to Horizon, which is a KFC alternative that people go to if they're at the Tokyo or Nakayama race courses. Product placement! Chronogenesis takes pictures with a camera rather than her phone. There's an association with Chronogenesis and cameras. The reason is that her main jockey was Yuichi Kitamura, and there just so happens to be a brand by the name of Kitamura Camera. That's it. Oh, by the way, this character, Gran Alegria, some people corrected me in my ranking videos about her name, and how I either said it as Algeria or Algeria. Just so you know, in my defense, this was my only reference for how it's said. Anyway, bonus Pretty Great content comes in the form of episode previews, featuring the characters talking to me. I do enjoy watching this stuff. They keep it in character, and it can be pretty fun in their own right. For example, I like the detail that Hayahide and Miracle are still on the relay race. It's small, but pretty amusing. Also, I want to say that the outro for the series is an absolute banger. It's sung by all 9 of the Grey horses featured in the anime. I'll leave a link to the full version of the song in the description. Give it a listen sometime. But with that, we come to a close with Pretty Grey. And into the ranking, it'll go above Umayon. Those 2 are pretty much equal for me, but I did thoroughly enjoy Umayuru more than them. I enjoy all of these, because they allow us to spend more time with these characters than we'd otherwise be able to, since some of these horses may not have stories that are easily adapted into full-length anime seasons. I mean, when you think about it, without Umayuru, characters like Air Shakura and Fun Motion would have had less screen time in all of Pretty Derby than Sun Visor. Now that's rough. I'm excited to see what'll come next for these spin-offs. But for now, this is where we'll call it off for this video. I hope you liked this little side quest of mine. Our next stop is the long-awaited Cinderella Grey breakdown. It's been a long time coming, and I've got so many things planned that I believe you'll enjoy. Please, look forward to it. And thank you. Thank you very much.